How to delete collections is going to be a no BS guide to watch the entire video. We're going to walk step by step. So let's go ahead and look at my client that we got to 800, just so y'all can see, collections. So you see portfolio over there, Midland credit, portfolio. So you see deletions. You see 807, 812, 778. So almost 800 across the board. All these are collections, and it was basically consumer law that was used to delete these. So let's get straight to it. So, time is of the essence. I said this in my last video that I just dropped, but y'all saw what happened with the CFPB if you watched my last video or if you've just been paying attention. Pretty much, CFPB is getting shut down, and it's gonna be harder basically to fix your credit. This is why when we talk about taking action, it's important that you take action. So Elon Musk actually tweeted this today. So I just saw this today. It says CFPB RIP. So y'all know what it is. Like y'all gotta seriously take action. So do everything I say in this video if you have collections that you want to get deleted. Because I don't know what they got planned in the future. You don't know what they got planned in the future. I'm just here to give it to y'all in real time. Pause. I'm here to give y'all the information so that y'all can be up to date. So let's talk about how to delete collections. So, just like I said last time, you need to change the way that you think and understand that any item of information can, in fact, be deleted. If you cannot grasp that simple concept, then you're not going to delete the collection. If you're struggling with collections right now and you don't believe that, you're not going to delete the collection most likely. So, yeah, like I said, I've literally helped clients with situations where they sued credit bureaus, got a settlement with the credit bureaus telling them not to proceed with the lawsuit, and they deleted the item of information. So that's the proof that you need to understand that the item of information can be deleted. If you watch my last video with the charge offs, we're going to go a little bit more in depth here. I'm going to literally show y'all a letter, you know? So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to make this video a little bit better than the last one. So how to delete collections overview. So number one, the biggest thing you want to be aware of when you're dealing with collections is you want to send a debt validation letter to the collection agency. So this is not to the credit bureau, the credit agency, the debt collection agency, so the debt collector, right? The creditor. And then you're going to send a dispute letter to the credit bureau. So you want to attack on both sides. This is where we've seen the most success. And this is what I've outlined in my SOPs within my company. If you don't know what SOPs are, it's standard operating procedures. When you work a 9 to 5, a lot of y'all probably work a 9 to 5. When you work a 9 to 5, they have certain procedures for how things are done. So that's what SOPs are. So in the SOPs, my team knows, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. We're attacking both ends. And we're not just sending a debt validation notice. On top of that, too, CFPB complaint. I'm literally walking y'all through how we did all this for my client, right? And with this whole CFPB shutdown thing, y'all better hurry up while you're watching the video while you can still make that CFPB complaint. And then BBB complaint as well. So BBB has been really good for us specifically when it comes to collections. So, you know, I would implement that within your process. And I'm gonna give y'all a template as well. So anytime you see a collection from a third party debt collector, the first thing you want to do is request a debt validation. And watch the entire video because I'm gonna go in terms of not just getting it deleted, but I'm gonna give you information on if you want to get paid for the collection, right? So it won't be legal advice, but just watch the entire video. Or skip through if you want, it's up to you. So let's look at a sample debt validation notice. So you see right here, this is literally in my university. So it's only $49 a month if you want like all the letters. But this is just a debt validation one, sample one. So, you can go to ChatGPT and create a letter, but I just put it here as an example for my people. So basically a 15 USC 1692G, as you see, we're basically talking about the five things under debt validation law, that we're requesting. So that's what it is. That's just a sample debt validation letter you can look at. And you can literally go to ChatGPT, create me a debt validation notice using the law 15 USC 1692G. All right, let's look at a CFPB complaint template. right? So CFPB complaint directions. So for what's it called? For collections, we do it a little bit differently than how we would typically do it. So you see, select the most appropriate option related to debt collection, what happened. We attach our dispute document, and then we basically just talk about what happened, right? So that's essentially how we do the CFPB complaint for specifically collections. So I'm walking y'all through what my company literally does, so y'all can get the results that we get, right? Because we're not cheap to work with. So this is like I'm giving y'all the information. So let's look at BBB template as well. So very similar. We're gonna basically attach what we got from our CFPB complaint. So you'll go to the option, I like to file a complaint against a business, add the company name, select no for everything. So you can select submit a BBB complaint on their site. You're gonna input your client's information or if it's for you. And then yeah, this is basically what you do. This is how we have it in our standard operating procedures. So that's the BBB template. So hopefully this is helpful for y'all. And then what I would say, as far as like specifically the letter that you would send to the credit bureaus, you could literally go watch my other videos where I'm talking about 15 USC 1681I and create your letter based on that because we're looking for those inaccuracies, right? So I would recommend pulling your annual credit report like I told y'all last time. So 15 USC 1681I, 1681I A1A. If you watched the last video, you know what it is. You know I highlighted certain specific parts of it. And I don't know if I'll make this like its own series, where I talk about deleting the charge-offs, collections, maybe late payments next, and everything else. Y'all let me know. But yeah, we're talking about collections right now. So any item of information shall reasonable reinvestigation. They're not gonna do it, so they gotta delete the item. So again, you need to learn how to read a credit report and just look for common things. So these are your options. The same options you have like from last time, right? If you watched the last video, you could try to do it on your own. It's very possible to do it on your own, right? But the issue with that is you probably already wasted a lot of time and energy trying to do it your way. So let me ask you a simple question. Does it make sense to waste an additional 2 weeks trying to do it your way, or should you probably do something different? The simple answer is you probably should do something different, right? So if you've been trying to like figure it out, you want to continue wasting time or like be efficient. Like let's be real, you know? And then if you need to think about it, ask yourself, how long have you been thinking about it and pushing your credit off? Let's just say for 3 months, let's say 6 months, let's say a year. Do you want to push an additional year? Does that even make sense? That does not make sense, especially if you're coming on this video, right? Do you think if you took action maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 12 months ago, don't you think you would be in a better position than you are now? Enough, you gotta think about it. It doesn't make sense to continue to think about it. You're not thinking about nothing. I need to talk to my wife. Your wife doesn't want you to have a 300 credit score. You know what I'm saying? So let's just use logic. What's the guarantee? My favorite objection. I guarantee if you don't do nothing, you're gonna be in the same situation or even worse, right? If your usage go up, maybe your credit get even worse. So the thing too about it when you're asking for a guarantee, you're basically quitting before you even start. So I would ask you, why would you quit before you even start? Only losers think like that. If you're watching up until this point, I'm assuming you're not a loser. But if you're a loser, I recommend you click off my video because I make videos for winners. Um, as well as the fact you don't have access to someone that's been doing it for years that will give you the extra strategy that may be that difference maker that you need. It's like a boxing match, an amateur versus someone that has experience. So you can join our university in the description. The video's not over. Keep watching if you want, more sauce. You got the opportunity to use our letters. I showed y'all the debt validation letter. We got multiple letters in there. The only catch is you not joining and wasting time trying to do something on your own that you haven't done, right? Or that you've been struggling to do, or that you're uncertain about doing, right? Because sometimes when people are like, "Oh, I'm trying to figure this out," but they don't want to invest nothing into themselves. You're looking at somebody online, somebody that I don't know you personally from nowhere. You're coming into my company, talking to my employees, trying to say that you're trying to figure out something, you're trying to get a result, you're trying to delete this, you want to hop on a call with me. Respectfully, it doesn't make sense for you to hop on a call with me for free. Like, how does that even make sense? All the results that we done got and the way that I'm busy, making money in my business, you know what I'm saying? So the way life works is money, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't see the point in investing $49 a month into myself, respectfully, forget your situation. I don't care about the item you're trying to get deleted. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hop on a call with you for free. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind if you do have that poor mindset, because a lot of people do have that poor mindset and just entitled mindset. And, people are just selfish. And, chances are you're selfish as well. So I do want you to use my information, but, be respectful. If you want access to somebody like me, you have to have money. It's not just free. So, part two of the video, let's get straight into it. If you're more advanced, this is for people that's a little bit more advanced. We're going to go a different route if you want to get paid as well for those collections. But keep in mind, this is not legal advice. This is not legal advice. I repeat, this is not legal advice. Go share it with your mama, share it with your dad, share it with your homies. Let them know this is not legal advice. All right, so we're going to want to record the call if we do want to get paid because we want to get them in a violation. And there's not always going to be a violation, but there can be a violation. So 15 USC 1692C, communication and connection with debt collection. So you want to look at the law, and specifically, we're going to look at CA1. So basically, what they're saying is that the debt collectors are not supposed to communicate with you with the collection of any debt. Go look up the definition of debt. I'm not going to break that down in here. If you watch my future, I mean, I said my future. If you watch my previous videos, you know what it is with debt. So, at any unusual time or place, at a time or place is known, which should be known to be inconvenient to the consumer. So, whatever is inconvenient to you, you decide that, right? And then they have the time for that. So, that's a violation right there. So, if you know what to do with it, you know what to do with it. At the consumer's place of employment, look at my situation. I used to work a 9 to 5, right? So I used to work as a chemical engineer. I retired that in June 2022. It's February 2025 now, right? So I've been working within my business for almost 3 years now. If a debt collector calls me right now, I'm at work. They're calling me at my place of employment. Now the thing for y'all, I can't tell y'all what y'all situation is. The thing for y'all, even if you're working 9 to 5, let's say you're being called, maybe you're working, maybe you have a business too. So do what you will with that information. All right, so you also want to notify the debt collector in writing that they said if a consumer notifies the debt collector in writing that the consumer refuses to pay the debt, basically they're supposed to cease communication. So for getting a violation, remember this is not legal advice. Getting a violation under CA1, I would recommend that you say verbatim, right now is not a good time to talk. When they call you, say that, record it. Right now, it's not a good time to talk. Why are you saying that? Because you're letting them know that it's inconvenient to you, right? So CA3, we just talked about work. You can literally let them know I am at work right now. So you have that recorded on a line. If they're repeated, if there's a repetition of them calling you and you have a repetition of this, you're building a case. That's not legal advice, but I mean, you analyze the situation. If they ask you when is a good time to talk, tell them, I don't know. Right now, I'm pretty busy, right? That's not legal advice. This is just maybe something I've seen, maybe something I've experienced. For lack of is a lack of a better term, I don't know what to say. This is this is entertainment purposes. Let me just say that. Everything I'm saying right here is entertainment, but do your research and you might see maybe what I'm saying is onto something. So if you miss their call, you can call them back too. And you can say, I got a missed call from this number. Did you call me? And then, you can kind of go from there. So the biggest thing about that, you don't really have to pay too much attention to this part. Don't pay too much attention to that part. But the biggest thing that I want y'all to take advantage of is understanding that when they call you, you don't necessarily have to run away from it. Don't run away from the calls and record the calls. Record the calls because there's violations in those. All right, so you could literally, as far as like refusing to pay the debt, you can handwrite something. You can say, I refuse to pay the debt. Take a picture of the letter for your record and send it certified mail. Send it out, and then, just letting them know that you refuse to pay the debt. So I just put an example right here for Midland Funding. And then let's say you do decide to go that route, the 1692 CC route. I wouldn't recommend disputing with the credit bureaus because FCRA law requires that they notify the creditor. So if you tell them to stop communicating with you, you don't want them to have an argument to say like, oh, the credit bureaus told us to contact you, because under the FCRA, they're basically saying, okay, this person made a dispute, let's go contact the creditor. Now, in the back of their mind, they're like, oh, shoot, this person's trying to get us in the FDCPA violation. But Experian told me to contact you, or, because you disputed. So just keep that in mind as well. And then one thing you got to realize is that FDCPA actual damages is where you exceed the $1,000 situation. So statutory is limited to $1,000 per lawsuit. That's a statutory. And then so that means this is not legal advice. If you note 5 to 6 phone calls, it's not necessarily, oh, this is $5 to $6,000 in damages. The statute is limited to $1,000 per lawsuit, right? So that's a common misconception that people have. So I repeat your options. So these are your options. You can try to do it on your own. Issue with that, you probably wasted a lot of time not being able to do it. You can get with me, somebody that has the connections in terms of who's going to help you with this. As if you do have a case, there's not always a case, but yeah, just keep that in mind. As far as, deleting the collection, getting paid for the collection, whatever you want to consider with the collection, you can continue wasting time or you can tap in the link in the description. I just put the same objections here that you may have. So, with that being said, click the link in the description if you want to join us in the university, get more information, get more sauce. And with that being said, y'all have a blessed one.